Welcome, and thank you for standing by. All participants will be on a listen-only mode until the question and answer session of today's call. If you'd like to ask a question, please type it in the question and answer pod through the WebEx. I'd also like to inform all parties that this call is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the call over to your host, Ms. Leslie Evans. Thank you, ma'am. You may begin.
Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to the FDIC's Money Smart for Small Business Town Hall webinar. I am, again, Leslie Powell Evans. I'm Chief of the Community Affairs section here at the FDIC. We are very excited to provide this webinar as an opportunity to showcase Money Smart for Small Business Alliance members that represent two important segments of the Money Smart Alliance membership: community development corporations and chambers of commerce. So, by the way, we will primarily be using the acronym MSSB to refer to our Money Smart for Small Business product. So our two speakers today will describe how and why they use the MSSB curriculum. But more importantly, they will share practical information about successful partnerships and collaborations in their communities to enhance the impact of the MSSB program. As a reminder, today's program is intended for intermediary organizations who are using or considering the use of MSSB. As you may know, MSSB is co-branded with the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we are thrilled to work with SBA in providing business training and other resources for aspiring and existing entrepreneurs. Today we have Donald Smith, Director of the Office of Entrepreneurial Development at the SBA office here in Washington, D.C. I'm going to ask Donald to introduce himself and share any SBA program updates with us. Donald, please join us in welcoming our attendees today. Hi, Donald.
Hey, Leslie, how are you?
I'm great.
Thanks so much for the warm introduction. So I just wanted to say that SBA is committed to ensuring that entrepreneurs have access to trusted advice and the financing to grow their businesses. The foundation in making sure that happens is being financially literate and capable. That's why our partnership with the FDIC is so important. The Money Smart for Small Business curriculum not only provides the foundation for entrepreneurs to work through the entrepreneurial development process and cultivate their ideas, but it also lets them know how important financial management is to a successful business venture. Each year across the country, thousands of intermediary organizations use Money Smart to reach entrepreneurs in their communities. Similarly, the SBA implements an initiative for mid-stage entrepreneurs. Each year, 700 entrepreneurs participate in SBA's Emerging Leaders Program. For those entrepreneurs that have revenue of $400,000 and above and have 3 or more employees, we would love to have them participate. So please take a look at SBA.gov and search for Emerging Leaders, and let us know whether or not an entrepreneur that you work with or that you serve is interested. Together we can pair entrepreneurs with the trusted advice and guidance to help them be successful, and that will help us create jobs and generate revenue and transform communities across our country. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Donald. So at this point, I will turn it over to Paula Diaz, who is the MSSB Senior Community Affairs Specialist responsible for our MSSB effort. Paula will moderate our presentation today.
Thank you, Leslie. As Leslie explained, I also work based in the Washington, D.C. office, and I usually coordinate national outreach. I also support our staff in helping organizations that are using or considering to use Money Smart for small business and working on other small business initiatives. For example, in collaboration with the SBA and other federal agencies and other small business development organizations. Again, welcome and thanks for investing this time to learn about how two organizations are using this free resource for aspiring and existing entrepreneurs. The chat function is enabled so that you can make connections with other participants and ask any questions that you might have as they come into mind or during the designated times for questions and answers. This webinar platform should appear as a browser window in your computer, and if at some point you lose the PowerPoint presentation, you should look for a circle icon that is green and blue in your taskbar. The taskbar is usually at the bottom of your screen or wherever you can visualize your Start button. In the case of Microsoft users, the Start button looks like a blue circle that has a 4-color flag inside. The slides are projected as a smaller window. There's a box next to the slides where you should be able to find menus to chat or questions and answers. You should use the chat function to communicate with the audience or the panelists, and you should use the questions and answers to submit questions to the panelists. Given the large audience that we have today, we might not be able to address all questions that we receive during the registration process or during the webinar. All questions that are relevant to the audience will be published in the questions and answers document that will be posted along with the recording of each town hall, just like we did for the town hall for Q4 2016. All other organization-specific questions can be handled by your local FDIC Community Affairs specialist. If you don't already know your FDIC Community Affairs specialist in your area, you can go to the FDIC website, www.fdic.gov/MoneySmart, and go to the Contact tab to find who to contact in your geography. My contact information and the direct link to the FDIC points of contact is provided in the last slide. Also, please know that all the participant lines are muted. In today's agenda, we will cover MoneySmart for Small Business flash news, so I will be very brief, and they will be followed by a presentation by the Martindale-Brightwood Community Development Corporation in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the Atlanta Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce in the state of Georgia. I want to remind everyone that we have recently updated our MSSB webpage by adding records from previous town hall meetings, as I explained. You will find the MSSB town halls information within the MoneySmart for Small Business webpage. Also, our MoneySmart Alliance is regrowing, and if you have not already joined, please do so after today's webinar. We recently completed the MoneySmart for Small Business Trainer curriculum that is intended to be a self-help tool to assist MoneySmart for Small Business Alliance members to train their staff and volunteers to become MSSB instructors. Also, we are sharing that we will be updating our banking and credit modules. So if there are organizations in today's meeting that have experience using both of these modules and you have feedback that you want to share with us, this will be a great opportunity. Finally, I want to remind everyone that all MoneySmart modules are available for download, and most of them are available in English and Spanish. And I provided the 2 web links where you can download all of the modules, and you can find icons to join the Alliance and other references that I mentioned today. So at this time, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Josephine Smith, and she will tell us about her experience using MoneySmart for a small business at her Community Development Corporation. Josephine, you have the presenter role, and we welcome you to get started anytime.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Paola mentioned, my name is Josephine Rogers Smith, and I am the Executive Director at the Martindale Brightwood Community Development Corporation in Indianapolis, Indiana. I have been in this position now for 11 years. In some cases, that has been a long time, but to me, I don't think it has been long enough because we have a lot of work to do in our Martindale Brightwood community. I have been involved with business development from various aspects and have over 30 years of nonprofit management experience working with nonprofits such as the Madam Walker Theater Center, Indianapolis Public School System, the Center Township Trustee, and many others. I have been an entrepreneur myself and owned 2 businesses here in Indianapolis. One was a child care center for infant and children, and also another broad spectrum from that was owning a beauty salon. And what helped me out with that was that my daughter was a hairstylist, so that helped us tremendously with that business. Martindale Brightwood CDC is now moving into its 2nd year of providing the Money Smart curriculum for our community. This curriculum, in my opinion, is very well developed, and I was really excited when I went to the first train-the-trainer program to see that such a tool was out there for our community.
Josephine, I'm sorry, this is Paola. I just want to remind you to please move the slides. We're under the impression you're not moving the slides yet. Thank you.
I'm trying.
Maybe a little bit.
I'm trying to move the slides.
You can go on. Until we figure this out, participants should know that we are currently at slide number 6, where we can see Josephine's picture. And from there, you should be able to move the slides at the pace at which Josephine is making her presentation. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I'm not quite sure what's going on right here. So the Martindale Brightwood CDC, our organization, we started in 1992, and our organization was formed by 5 neighborhood associations in Martindale Brightwood. And the CDC was formed to provide a wide range of services, as you see here. And the services were to help residents living in the community to have a better quality of life. Our organization is only 5 miles from downtown Indianapolis. We have done a number of housing projects from 67 scattered sites, rental units. We've had developed 25 homeownership units. And these homeownership units are still a very good showcase for our community. I have to say we did sell our scattered site units in 2012 to an investor that has renovated and now rented out all 67 of those units. Some of the areas that we have to address in our community include the fact that we have a lot of vacant houses in the area, and environmental justice is also a critical issue because our community was high industry, had railroads, we had a lot of chemical plants in the area. So we have found, as a matter of fact, that a lot of the soil in the community was contaminated with chemicals, contaminated with lead, and even now we still have the Environmental Protection Agency and the state environmental management, working to still clean up some of the soil in the neighborhood. The geography that we serve includes about 10,000 residents, and our Community Development Corporation, as we became known in 1992, we were part of the trend with the city and other states that developed community development corporations to address a unique need in the community, from housing development to employment, as well as economic development. And so now, as a CDC, we are trying to make sure that we stay relevant and we stay current so that we can still provide services to our community. In 2016, we presented 7 modules, but prior to that, in 2015, third quarter, we also, I guess you would say it was kind of like a pilot program where we did about 4 classes in 2015, and they were very successful. And our numbers in 2016, we had about 81 participants that went through all of those sessions, and each one of the participants received certifications for attending those sessions. Partnership, collaboration, you hear a lot about that, but we have found that that is really key to having your programs and your modules and attendance for those to be successful. We were able to generate funding for our program from Fifth Third Bank to help cover such costs as space and materials, as well as helping to promote and market the event. It has been really amazing for me to see the businesses that have come to our sessions, the type of business that they have started. Some are still in the exploration phase, but we've had people that one of our participants, she had gone to a culinary class, and she got the chef there to help her blend her spices. And from there, she started coming to our first class. She came to every class that we had last year, and now she is distributing her spices all around town. She sent some even out of town. We had one gentleman who was manufacturing and making parts for motorcycles. We had someone who was a truck driver, and she wanted to start her own trucking company. We've had jewelry makers, a number of interesting businesses that I don't think we would have heard about if we had not presented the modules from small business. We had 2 businesses that were successful in getting a loan from one of our banking partners. So all total, those 2 loans added up to over $200,000. That was really exciting to hear and to know about. We have brought together a number of partners that have assisted us with our Money Smart program. The Indies Business Association, which was formed in 2010. We have 2 bank representatives that work with us. And from our community, we have an organization called Community Resurrection Partnership, which is a faith-based group in our neighborhood that works with churches, pastors, to help them understand and be involved in the community. The local Small Business Council, we've had them participate in some of our training sessions, and we're looking to have SCORE this year to also participate with us in some way in providing information to our small businesses. Money Smart, the workshops are offered, you know, like in a series or very succinct manner, because we like for the information to, you know, build up from one session to the next. SBA serves as the facilitator for a lot of our sessions, and this year we will get started with finding out from individuals whether owning a business is right for them. Mama Ray's, which is the spice company that I was talking about, she will be one of the presenters at this session, and she will talk about her experience, how she attended the classes, some of the challenges she had in getting her business started, and just providing a roadmap for the individuals that will be in our first class. For our training, well, we try not to be too much of a stick in the mud, if you will, on requirements for our training. We did ask people to, you know, pre-register for the sessions, and we wanted people to come that were either they had started a business, they were thinking about starting a business, or they were already in business. We are considering, you know, establishing a graduation for our program where we will provide certificates again for the people who attended. One of the things that we were able to do, like I mentioned earlier about the 2 loans, our banking partners, like for our CDC and our partner organizations, to refer people to them for assistance. So we do that, and as you see, we've been successful. With our SBA partner, we have it came about in 2016. We have a strategic alliance with SBA, and in this, they have committed to our community to help us provide education, training, and resources to our small business. So this has been very successful. We have been working with SBA now for almost 2 years on this program. The Deputy Director, Martin Anderson, is our go-to person. He knows the FDIC, SBA curriculum front and back, and he's part of our team to help guide us in the selection of our workshops. One of the other things that has helped us is that we're also able to select businesses from the community to participate and serve as facilitators in our sessions. And that helps individuals that's in attendance to recognize people that they know, may be familiar with, to understand and see that they are giving back to the community. We plan to use, and I'm glad to see that FDIC has a train-the-trainer curriculum, and we will use that for our staff and for our facilitators for our upcoming programs and training. So we will take a moment now to see if anyone has any questions.
Thank you very much. We're going to be monitoring the questions as they come in via the question and answers chat or the chat feature. But in the meantime, I did have a number of questions that came as you were speaking. And the first one is whether you charge any fees to your participants. And if you could provide a few more examples about how you raise funds to be able to provide this program in your community. Thank you.
The banks have been very helpful and supportive of this program. As you may know, that they have certain requirements that they need to meet for Community Reinvestment Act, CRA, so that always helps. So you can develop your programs, develop a grant based on the bank requirements, and submit that like in the fall of the year prior to your next season. So that has been our main source of funding.
Excellent. I think we're going to let people figure out what additional questions they have, but in the meantime, we're going to turn it over to our next speaker. I know that Josephine is going to stay with us until the end of the event, and might be able to address any other questions that we get in the next few more minutes. Oh, but before I transfer, I do have one question in the chat, and that question is for you, Josephine. They're asking, who do you use as trainers, and where and how did you find them? And with your answer of that question, we will turn it over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Okay. We use people who are part of our Business Development Council, and they are volunteers who are either business persons or from our local community churches as facilitators. We have engineers, we have someone from Indiana University as on our council. We also have 2 bankers who are also facilitators in our sessions, especially on the ones with banking and credit. The marketing tool that has been most successful for us is our social media. Right now, we already have 38 registrations for our first class, which is tonight.
Do you want to share your last final piece of advice, and then we'll turn it over to Michael? Thank you, Josephine.
I would say for anyone thinking about or have started the modules is to be flexible, understand who your facilitators are, allow them the latitude to make adjustments in the curriculum, and utilize your community leaders, people from your community organizations, from your churches, and if you have an association that provides training and technical assistance in your community, get them involved as well. And again, utilize the banks that are in your neighborhood.
Thank you very much, Josephine, for those excellent suggestions. And next, we have Michael Hill, President and CEO from the Atlanta Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce. He will be introducing himself and then talking about how he implements the Money Smart for Small Business program. Thank you. Do we have you on the line, Michael?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. I will make you the presenter just now.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, first of all, excited to be on the call. I am President Emeritus, President of the Atlanta Black Chamber of Commerce from 2005 to 2015. And I've been in the financial sector for about, in my employee days, I will say, for about 7 years in the financial sector and 12 years in the sales sector. Of course, over the last 10 to 15 years, been in the business and economic development arena with the Atlanta Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce. And today, I'm more so focused on mentorship and funding and purchasing underserved businesses and underserved communities. Currently, I am doing a coordination project with the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce, and we are mentoring and expanding chambers throughout the southern region. We first got exposed to the Money Smart program in 2010 with the basic curriculum, and we was primarily using this curriculum to our small businesses. So once the FDIC adopted the Money Smart Small Business Program, we quickly jumped on that particular opportunity because we thought it was a better fit. We still are using the Money Smart Small Business curriculum, particularly when we go into faith-based institutions. We do have faith-based institutions as our membership base, and that has served well, and I'll talk about that later in the slide in terms of how we're using the program in the faith-based institution. But over the period of time, we've graduated well over 500 different students and members to date. Our goal in 2017 is to expand the program throughout the state of Georgia as well as throughout the southern region. Our methodology for getting involved with the program is that we strongly feel that financial education fosters financial stability to individuals and families. And a lot of individuals wondered, why did we as a chamber get involved in it? Is that our membership composed of not only business owners, but those business owners have employees. Those employees and owners also have families. And that's what we really emphasize in terms of legacy building of wealth as we roll this particular program out. And it's been received well by the business owners as well as their employees and families. So we're very excited about that. And as we reach out into the community, we are also doing research in the various regions. As you see on this slide point presentation, we actually assessed where the banking institutions was in various communities like HUD communities, targeted communities that were underserved. And we tried to zero down and to make sure that we are targeting these particular communities that surround the Atlanta metropolitan area. This helps the different banking partners stay aligned with their Community Reinvestment Act credits. And then we also want to make sure that we're holding them accountable because we know that certain banks do have existing programs, so we want to make sure that those programs are actually being educated to the community. One of the biggest challenges with small businesses is access to capital. Many of the businesses that have matriculated through the program are businesses that we see that have sales pretty much under $50,000 in annual sales and $30,000 in annual sales. That's been the traditional audience that has been coming and actually taking the program. But as we have expanded the program, we've noticed that more high-end, more businesses with capacities that have more advanced financial service needs are now signing up for our program, and we changed the format from more of a general presentation to now we are implementing more of a industry-specific presentation. And when I say industry-specific, for example, if someone is in the hair care industry, their needs would differ for somebody that may be in the transportational industry. So due to the flexibility of the program, it allows us to really present industry-specific solutions in terms of how we can meet their business and cash flow needs. So we've really implemented the program in that way. Now, when we do the program, just kind of give you guys an idea, we've kind of experimented with different variations of the programs in terms of how long should the program actually be implemented over a period of time. Originally, we did it in a 6 weeks type program, and what we experienced when we were doing the 6 weeks programs that we may start off with a class of 35, but by the time we get to the end of the 6 weeks, we probably have 10 students left. And this was due to a lot of business owners not having time to come out on a consistent basis, so we began exploring different online webinar type opportunities for them to take advantage of. But what has been our most successful delivery of the program is our 2-day boot camp format. And we actually have one of those formats coming up where we do a 16-hour 2-day intensive of the program to really introduce different modules and have them to go home to follow up with those different modules so they can really get more insight on it. Our facilitators that actually present the programs are made up of different subject matter professionals. So, for example, in the time management presentations, we try to bring in individuals who have a project-based management background to actually present on that presentation. Our banking and financial partners pretty much take over the presentations of financial management, credit reporting. In some cases, we've actually had partners like Equifax to come out or Duns and Bradstreet to come out to do the credit reporting presentation. Risk management, we reserve that to our insurance partners as well. They tend to do the risk management presentation, the presentation on insurance, as well as selling your small business and succession planning. These presentations by us being a chamber has been very, very beneficial for our financial sector because it gives them an opportunity to actually meet future clients to do business with and really to kind of sit down and talk more about what they learned in the individual classes. It's very important that as we do the programs that we have strategic partners. And our partners have been invaluable in terms of presenting this particular program. Quarterly, what we do, we have a meeting of financial service professionals, which consist of banking institutions, insurance professionals, anyone that's in the financial service arena for a period of time. We meet with them quarterly. We just actually had our first quarterly presentation as we plan to prepare for the month of April, which is our financial literacy month. So we're gearing up with that. One of the leading agencies that's going to be partnering with us on that is SunTrust. Over the years, we make sure that we align ourselves with our partners such as SBA, who's been an invaluable partner with us, and the FDIC. We've also partnered with organizations such as the National Association of Accountants, the Black Accountants Association, the Atlanta Federal Reserve, the IRS comes in as well. We have financial advisors. Fifth Third has probably been one of our stronger banking partners in terms of leading on this initiative effort. And now we have our new partner that's coming on, SunTrust Bank. We're excited about that. We bring in micro-lenders and our educational institutions such as Herzing University, Clark Atlanta University. We have a couple of more institutions that we're going to be bringing on, which provide a great mix of students actually getting involved with the program, as well as us being able to extend the programs throughout the community. Some of our church programs, anytime that we're in a neighborhood with a faith-based institution, we typically get our neighborhood associations involved, as well as their merchants associations. We did that with Cascade United Methodist Church for 3 years in a row. That worked out very successful. And as we do the programs within the church and the institutions, one of the things that we do is that we partner with the different ministries, such as the youth ministry or the seniors ministry, and they are able to present some of the other Money Smart modules while we are presenting the Money Smart Small Business module. It has been a very successful program. Our funding, primarily, of course, our funders are underwritten by the different participants that we use throughout that, and this is kind of an example of how we do our funding in terms of what our needs are. Either they're sponsoring a workshop, a specific session that has worked out for us because we want to make sure that we're still able to offer the program free for the public. And this allows us to do so when we're actually having the individual module sponsored. So that's been very beneficial. They sponsor the rental spaces for the locations, but typically when we are doing it with an educational institution, they donate those spaces. Of course, the box lunch, that's the best way to actually keep your expenses under, to do a box lunch type thing, and Chick-fil-A is a great $5 option for that, so we really enjoyed that. And all of these things end up covering our expenses as well. Now, one of the things that we are getting and improving on, and this is something in terms of once the individuals go through the program, we want to make sure that there's some type of reinforcement and accountability that's going on. So the industry peer groups and sessions that follow that are very, very essential to what we do. That accountability helps us to really track progress, and it also allows us to create a cohort model amongst the students so they can kind of stay together in terms of seeing how they're doing throughout the years. Our plans for 2017, we're now looking at about 20 markets to expand throughout the region. In this picture here, you see Larry Holloman. I like to talk about Larry. I'm very excited about Larry. Larry is one of the few chambers, I would like to say he's one of the most successful minority African-American chambers in the Southeast. He's now running a $3.5 million budget where he's doing a micro-lending program out of Beaufort, South Carolina. And we are using and we are proposing that the regions adopt the Money Smart program as our regional program to be used in all of the chambers within those markets. So that's what we're currently working on in 2017, and this is some of the network of chambers that have signed on thus far, and we're looking forward to getting that over to you, Paula, so you can accept these chambers into the network. And we're excited about that. And these are some of the regional cities in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and so forth that we are taking the program into. So it has been well received, and we're excited. Probably we're looking at third quarter where we'll have all these programs active and running. We're currently now going to be doing a series of different webinars and events to get the subject matter experts via webinar trained through the Train the Trainer program, and we will be coordinating with our local representatives to help us implement that. And I can't say enough in terms of our local representatives, such as Tom Stokes and Elaine Hunter, who are with the FDIC, who have been tremendous in terms of helping us and supporting us to grow this program, as well as our state representative, Terry Dennison, who has also been instrumental in helping us support the Money Smart program. For those who are new to the program, I can't emphasize enough that this is a great program and the flexibility that it allows for you to be creative in terms of presenting financial literacy solutions to the community. It is something that we've been doing for years with the Money Smart in the beginning, combined with the Money Smart Small Business. We have really seen businesses benefit from it, but just keep in mind is that as people enter into the program, you will have businesses that will vary in capacity and needs. And we have found, from a customization point of view, doing it by industry, it has really created great value for our members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for, first of all, for highlighting our staff from the FDIC and the SBA in the state of Georgia. We're so glad to hear that you have a very strong partnership and we have provided a value to the great programs that you've put together. I have a couple of questions in the queue for you, and one of them is how do you, and whether you have changed anything in the curriculum in order to provide it for the youth. We noticed that in your slide there was information about kids programs. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
The youth component of the program? Is that what you were asking, Paula?
Yes.
Okay. Well, one of the things that, yes, we do provide the customization of the program. So, for example, some programs like time management, starting your own business, is starting a business right for you. These are the new modules that have been added. So it definitely changed the way and the time in which we promote the program. What we've done now with those particular entities have really made more of a panel-type presentation around that particular module. And then sometimes we also, when you talk about the youth, we pull different programs in and out for the different modules to present. So I know the youth, there's how to get a car. I think it's a presentation on the car and stuff, and we've partnered with the local automotive dealers and so forth to come in and to talk to the youth about cars. Our plan this year coming up is to actually take them down to a car dealership and make that a part of the presentation as well. So incorporating in real life type situations are great. We also do the youth module. I think I mentioned that, is that when we go into a faith-based institution, it really opens up and allows us to be very creative in presenting the program by actually having Money Smart going on simultaneously while partnering with the youth ministry to present the youth aspects of the module. We're exploring right now different creative ways that we can engage the senior community, 50-plus entrepreneurs. And that's something that we've been exploring conversations with AARP to come in and look at some things that they're doing, as well as probably piloting an actual special program with a 50-plus entrepreneurship model. So what we're going to do now is put together an actual team to look at the existing models and look at ways that we can present it to make it more age appropriate. You know, the youth have different modules, I think, from K to 12. So we're looking at, well, if I'm 40, you know, what is the situation? How does Money Smart complement me at 40-something? How does Money Smart complement me at 50-something? How does Money Smart complement me at 60-something? So those are some things that we are having discussions about now.
Thank you. I have another question. It seems that you have a wide reach and plans to expand regionally. And the question is, how do you engage organizations that are regional to provide additional continued support? For instance, if you're currently getting support from one financial institution, what approach are you planning to use or you have used so that they expand the support to other states?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one, we do no exclusive relationships. That's been kind of our motto. And the financial service roundtable component, which each of the chambers and business associations and business roundtables that are affiliated with our network, we've shown them how to really build key stakeholders within their different regions. So step one before we even bring the Money Smart program in is that they form that group of subject matter experts and key stakeholders before we even begin to train the trainer. And one of the things that we allow, particularly when we have multiple banking relationships, is that we sit down with that particular banking institution to go over what are their goals and objectives in terms of what they're trying to accomplish, and we do that program with them. So, for example, we have a partner in SunTrust. So SunTrust and the Chamber we have 4 programs that we're doing together for the year. So when we sit down with our other banking partner, who's a credit union, we have 4 programs that we're doing with the credit union as it relates to Money Smart based on their target demographic. So when we actually sit down with the different institutions and financial professionals, we really customize the Money Smart program based on what are their goals, what are their objectives, what are their educational objectives, and then what type of clients do they want to bring into their particular business. So that allows us to really kind of create a win-win for everyone.
Excellent. Good question. And do we still have Josephine on the line? Because we have a question for her.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you so much. It seems there's a number of people who want a little bit more background about community development corporations. Can you explain a little bit more whether community development corporations are found everywhere in the United States or maybe regionally, or if you're interested in becoming one, how can you become one? And how did you, we noticed that in your slide about all of your programs, you have a lot of programmatic areas, and how do you think other CDCs can incorporate entrepreneurship into the wide programs they already offer? Thank you.
Thank you. Our Community Development Corporation started as a result of an initiative by the City of Indianapolis. And in my research, I have seen and been able to find community development corporations all around the U.S. And like I said earlier, I think it was to address a very unique need in the communities for developing sustainability within the different neighborhoods. And so when the city did CDCs in Indianapolis, they looked at geography. And so, like in my area, I have a catchment area of 10,000 people. There's another CDC that has a catchment area of 42,000 people. So it doesn't really, it really kind of looks like how your neighborhood has previously said that my neighborhood association or my neighborhood is bounded by this border, that border, and the next border. So in other cities around this country, you'll see where community development corporations have carved out a specific community that they want to serve. And so that service could come in the area of housing, economic development, which we have dropped in our small business component under economic development. We feel that economic development, providing business stability, developing new business, will help stabilize our community. So they can provide jobs, they can provide service, and so on in the community. As you, Community Development Corporation, just go online, you can find a number of CDCs around the country. They have different missions, different structures. Some may provide only housing and economic development. Some will go as far as education, workforce development, you name it. It could be any number of things depending on the need that's in your specific community. We are a 501c3 organization, as I said, established in 1992 by 5 of the neighborhood associations in the Martindale-Brightwood community.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that background. And I do have another question. Oh, sorry.
Was there another part to that question?
Yes, I think you addressed the question. It was a very complex one, and thank you for that. And there's another question for the 2 presenters, and it seems some organizations are struggling to figure out how to offer programs for free. And I think both of you presented and explained, but if there are any additional piece of advice that you want to offer, and why you offer the programs for free, that may be useful. So you can go first, Josephine, and then Mike. Thank you.
Well, you know, we always say there's no free lunch, but we are very well supported by the fact that FDIC and SBA has put in the time, money, and expertise in developing these curriculums for us to be able to use. So my time at my organization is spent across all those programs, and so I take it on myself to provide my staff time and the resources that we have within our organization to make this program available. Now, when we talk about space and promotion, we're bringing in outside resources to help market the programs and make the community more aware that the programs are here. So with the banks providing that additional support, we offer the program free to the participants because we want them to get their business right, because the end result will be bigger than charging them $5 or $25 to attend if they can get their business established and productive for the community. Thank you.
Mike?
Yes, I would just like to ditto on all those points. The way we are all able to offer it free is just because of the relationships that we built with the program. So for a person who's starting out, the first relationship I would advise you to go develop a relationship with is the bank, because it's a win-win for the bank. You know, that whole Community Reinvestment Act, it's public information. Do your research. Look at what your banks are doing in the community. Are they really fulfilling their community reinvestment obligations? And those banks that aren't, this will be a great complement for them to be able to fulfill those obligations. It's not that they might not necessarily want to, it's maybe they don't have the time or capacity to do so. So the Money Smart program is an excellent way for the banking institution to get out in the community to brand itself with your organization. So that's how I would begin the conversation in terms of who can help me underwrite our program. Other things is if you look at each of the modules presents an opportunity for a subject matter or industry expert to underwrite that for you. So we didn't just go to the banks, we also, with the insurance part, hey, let's go to State Farm, let's go to the bank Nationwide or whatever insurance company. So they're very open to be a part of this program too, and by bringing in those subject matter experts, it creates a win-win, so you don't have speakers fees to absorb, because all of our speakers tend to be our members or our partners within the financial service industry. So it's a great win-win if presented right to the right relationships. So that's what I would advise.
Thank you very much, Mike. And I will steal the last 2 minutes of our town hall to address a couple of questions that we received during the registration, and most importantly, one that came through the Q&A about how to provide feedback for the updates of the credit and banking modules. So if you have any ideas about how to improve the credit and banking modules, this is the right time to provide the feedback. Even though we're always open and eager to hear any ways we can improve it, at this time we're working on redeveloping the product, and it will be very timely if you're able to submit any ideas that you have to improve the credit and banking module directly to me. And my email is provided in the screen. For those that may be having visual difficulties, it is pdiaz@fdic.gov. And it will be very timely if you can send those along before the end of April, or hopefully by mid-May. We would appreciate that. Well, I also had another question in the registration process about when can we book train-the-trainer classes. So as it was explained earlier when I opened up the program, we have made the train-the-trainer curriculum available for any organization to use and host their own train-the-trainer program. Because we have limited resources. Usually we have at least one community affairs specialist that covers every state, but that clearly is not enough. And the first thing you should do if you're interested in hosting a train-the-trainer program to prepare your instructors of Money Smart for Small Business is to contact your community affairs specialist and determine whether they can provide support. Depending on their schedule and also the number of people that you're expecting, please know that we do give priority to events where the expected attendance is over than 30 people. And if we're able to provide the support in a way that meets your needs and your schedule, we will do so. But we are also happy to provide the partial train-the-trainers or shorter train-the-trainers via webinars. So we can use the same technology we use today in order to fulfill more of those needs. But for any of those cases, it is always best to contact your local community affairs specialist. Another question that I had was whether we're going to have a curriculum for youth. We do not currently have a curriculum for the youth specifically on entrepreneurship, but we have a Money Smart for the Youth program that you can check out at the www.fdic.gov, and Money Smart, which you have on the slides right now, on the closing slides, and you can see all the programs that we have. We also have Money Smart for older adults, and we have a version for adults. So as you heard from Mike, he usually combines Money Smart for personal finance with the Money Smart for small business, and that seems to work well. Well, at this time, we are 1 minute past the hour, and we appreciate your participation today. Thank you for the questions you submitted, and until next time. Operator, you can end the call.
That concludes today's conference. Thank you for participating. You may disconnect at this time.